Alright, this is part 3, our continuation.
Of Friday the 13th, part 3 in 3D. Alright, so we left off.
1982. Mr. Creepshow 09 and JBM 2005.
We left off with Shelly messing around with the fire poker in the fire, and they showed Jason looking at him through the window. And then it cuts to now it cuts to the couple, the main couple with the love quarry. They're like outside on the fake, what is it supposed to be, Crystal Lake.
The scene's so creepy, like
it's
how they're out.
Lake,
they're like out under an old like oak tree or whatever, out in the woods.
No, and she's like talking about her life's hopes and dreams.
And earlier she mentions of how she is afraid of Crystal Lake, and we learn the reason why is because she got raped by Jason a few years earlier, and she tells a story about how she blacked out and she saw Jason's mongoloid dome.
Yeah, she starts actually telling them the actual story of her.
And she's wearing Uggs in the early 80s.
Yeah, they go back to the flashback of when she ran into Jason at Crystal Lake, all the years ago before.
And then she's like, I woke up in my bed and I don't know what happened.
She's wearing the Uggs. Oh yeah, she's like, I woke up back in my house. Jason picked her up. Yeah, Jason picked her up from the woods and dropped her off at her house, and nobody knows. She's like, yeah, my parents didn't even say a thing when I woke up. She's like, nobody remembered. She's like, nobody remembers me. Nobody remembers.
So then they cut back to the Cheech and Chong character.
Oh yeah, because they haven't showed
the hippies. Like,
they haven't showed the hippies for like the past 20 minutes in the movie.
Stuff. You don't even know their relation to the group, and you don't even see them for like hippies. 3 hours.
They're just there for comic relief. Like, hey, we got hippies. It's 1982. There's still hippies around.
Like what? We were 16 when you were born.
What? They're smoking weed.
What? It's 1969.
And what? It's 1982.
Same thing.
It's 1982, stuck in 1972. Alright, go on.
Stuck in 1968, you mean?
Well, no, it's 1972, which is stuck in 1978. If you guys can get that.
And then the guy bakes out.
The guy's... Oh, yeah, no. So it cuts back to the hippies, and he's popping popcorn. And then he...
Shut up, that isn't even there yet. Just shut up.
He goes back to him, but he goes to the outhouse. Yeah, he wakes up from a nap or something.
He bakes out the outhouse.
He goes to the outhouse. No, and this is the same outhouse that Jason supposedly used on Crystal Lake, and it's the same outhouse that Jason
from his shitter,
put his ass all over the same.
Probably not though. Actually, he probably has been using that. That's why.
No, so then the freaking.
No, if American Pickers were there, he'd be like, Frank and like Mike. They'd be like, "Oh, Jason, how much for the shitter, man?" And then Jason like, oh, I don't know, man, that is sentimental
Jason
value.
Didn't even say anything. He just nodded his head like, nah.
Not for sale.
Nah, I can't do it.
That's sentimental value. Me and my mom used to take shits on you. Alright, go on.
Alright, so they know
he sparks up a cigarette prop.
He sparks up a cigarette prop.
And he's like, that's some heavy shit.
It's supposed to be
and you're like, yeah, because it's freaking cheap tobacco. It's dried out to hell.
Stale. Stale's the term. Alright, so then he lights up a stale marijuana cigarette. A stale marijuana light.
Oh, this is when the bitch comes out and they hear a noise and they think Shelly's playing another horror prank.
Yeah, he's like, who's that out there? And then someone shakes the outhouse. It's probably Jason, but we don't know. Or it's Shelly, who knows? Of course it's Jason.
Then he sparks up another J, even though it was like they ate all the weed on the way out there.
Yeah, she goes out, meets her other hippie.
Hold up, they ate all the
They go in the barn to look around.
And the rest of it just like had everyone's jizz all over it.
And it's just fill her up the butt.
And then Jason walks out Michael Myers style. And he's like got the most confidence I've ever seen from a mongoloid ever.
And then
the stuntman, like he just walks like not like Jason.
You know, he comes walking out
like your typical stunt guy sometimes. And it's too much of a Michael Myers copycat.
They're like, yeah, walk natural.
Actually, this Jason had the first time they had broad shoulders, and it was more like Jason. Alright, we're going to come up on the infamous hockey mask.
Yeah, he had like
that
mutated body structure. Looked kind of nice.
It's the infamous where he gets his iconic hockey mask.
Yeah, so because the girl was Shelly.
He pulls the water prank, yeah, of course. He's Shelly. Of course, they just did that for filler.
Yeah,
Alright.
So we don't know.
So he's wearing the hockey mask when he does that, when he's scooping.
Yeah, he's wearing the hockey mask, scooping down, he comes up on the dock, grabs her leg.
He's just like, it's better to be a jerk than to be nothing.
She's like, you're not nothing, Shelly.
So Shelly goes in the barn. We don't even see what happens to him.
Yeah,
you assume his death.
I
hate how they do that in the Friday the 13th movies.
They'll do it with a couple deaths. They'll do it with like
cut it away.
Yeah, and then
leave it up to your imagination.
Yeah, they won't show the death, but then they'll show his dead body later on in the movie. And it's like, okay, it should show his death, so it's tighter, so I'd see more.
Oh, and Shelly's like in the barn. He's like, "Are you guys doing something I shouldn't see?" And you know, like you're around that, like, and you know when you're around that dark, sober person, they come around, they like, you hear them coming from a mile, and you're like, oh, great.
No, it's just freaking 6th grade all over again, where you're trying to make out with your girlfriend, and the whole crowd,
the
whole crowd comes around, and it's like, yeah, and then it's like the kid that everybody hates, and he's like, hey, you guys kiss, hey, don't you? And it's like annoying as hell, you know what I'm saying?
And you're trying to steal.
I wouldn't know that.
You're trying to steal second base, so you get to third base.
I never had a girlfriend.
But you're stuck on first base, but you can't even. But then you get picked off of first base because the fat kid comes in and ruins everything.
I never had a girlfriend in 5th grade.
Wow.
But I had one in 6th grade. Freaking fat. Alright. So then,
so Jason walks out with a mask.
So they don't see Shelly's death. We don't see his death.
No, Jason walks out with the hockey mask.
Yeah, she's still on the deck.
No, there isn't an iconic moment where you see Jason put on the hockey mask.
She's still on the dock. Yeah, they don't show.
I gotta say this. This wasn't even meant to be like his iconic symbol. It was just they threw it in for like because they're like, hey, it's the '70s, it's a movie. What else can we make Jason do? Because they always make Jason do random things in part 2 and part 3. Okay, and then the guy was like a hockey fan,
so she's on the dock,
and it was a Red Wings model hockey mask from the 50s.
It cuts back to her. She's still on the
They're
dock.
like, hey, put that on.
And freaking, they show him coming up, Jason walking up with the freaking hockey mask and looking all tight. And he's got the freaking, what do they call it?
The
harpoon gun thing. And she's like, what are you doing? She thinks it's Shelly. And then she's like, wait a second, who are you? She's like, I got your wallet, Shelly, with your rubber in it.
She drops it in the water, yeah, and then
freaking Jason just lifts up the harpoon and shoots her, and it goes right through her eye. And
they played homage to the remake. In the remake, they combined the first 3, as we know, some of the best parts of the first 3. That's why I really like the remake, and a lot of other horror fans like the remake because it combines a lot of the best elements from the franchise and condenses it into one movie. Although I wish they would have paid more attention and hired a real actor for Pam Voorhees in the origin of the opening scene, then it would have been real dope.
Yeah, it would have been tight.
They just totally ignored that. They just focused on Jason. Like, hey, everyone knows Jason. Let's sell Jason. That's why I say Mrs. Voorhees is underrated as hell. Then he looks up at the room lit up.
I don't know. You gotta pay homage to Jason because he's the one that they went with.
Yeah, we know, but they should have paid. Given the time to Mrs. Voorhees, the origins of Jason, because he came from Mrs. Voorhees because she's psycho. They show her head get chopped off, but they treat it like a.
She's just Granny on the loose.
They just treat it like a.
Like Granny on the loose.
Nate, Granny on the. Shut up, Nate. So leave then, Nate.
Oh, okay.
And it's a couple having sex.
Oh, I'm Nate Dunning from Nate Dunning Films. I'll just leave. Alright, so
Jason's like, oh, they're having sex, so
I gotta kill them, yeah. So, he kills her.
This is when the movie goes legit, and they show the tits, as we like to say.
Wow.
As Randy Meeks would say.
Yeah, so he kills the girl. He kills the girl out on the dock, and Jason looks up, and they show the camera angle up the house, and they see the girls, or the couple up there, and he's like, alright, I gotta kill them, because they're having, X. Wow.
And then they decided to do a stupid random thing where he does a handstand.
Yeah, so he's like, you want a beer? So they get done doing it, and freaking she takes a shower, and then he's like, you want a beer? She's like, yeah, I'll take a beer.
It's just like a total knockoff of the Halloween scene with PJ Souls in that scene where she wants a beer.
It's filler forever, and he does a handstand, and then freaking they show him,
Jason chops down on his taint.
Yeah, he's walking through the hallway, and then Jason just, freaking shows up and cuts right down the freaking, where his wiener is, and goes up to his torso.
Yeah, his taint. Nate Dunning style. He shaves it,
Nate Dunning shaves his taint?
That's just a rumor. I cannot confirm or deny that. Alright, moving on.
Then
the girl's just like, Did you?
No, the girl's like, hey, did you get the beer? She's like, actually, I don't want that beer. And she gets out of the shower.
No, she's like, cut it out. She's like, cut it out. Did you just get your balls sliced in too? Cut it out.
Oh yeah, she's like, hey, you out there?
I changed my mind. I don't want to buzz tonight.
Like,
we're out on Crystal Lake. Like what?
And you're like, okay, you just want to go to bed sober?
You just want penis?
That's Darno Weeks talking. I don't want a beer.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good, dude. Alright, so.
Like out at a party, like no, like if you like invited
like,
Darnell Weeks over for your weekend at like a horror movie marathon and you offered him like a beer, like
he's like yeah,
or like a hit.
No, you go
or like
get
a
it.
hit out of a book.
No, you go get it and then you come back and then he's like, actually, I don't want it.
Yeah, and he'll be like nah, or he'll just hold on to it the whole night and it'll just be piss warm when you wake up in the morning. And
you're like, you want a beer? And then you go upstairs to go get it and then you come back and then he's like, actually, no, I don't want it.
No, he'll open it, take a sip, and leave it out for the rest of the night.
We don't know what he would do.
So then back to the girl who shows her tits, and she's in the shower, and this one they finally show her nipples, smoking hot. The girls are freaking hot in this. Wow.
Put soap in your mouth.
The girl grabs the Fangoria magazine from 1981.
She's in the shower. She doesn't know where her boyfriend's at. She's waiting for the beer, and she's like, "Hey, what's do?" And then freaking she grabs the Fangoria horror magazine. Moment. She's reading it, and then the blood starts dripping. This is so retarded because they make her seem like she's a bimbo. She's looking at the blood dripping on the paper, and she's like,
"Where's that coming from?"
She's like, "Oh, what is this?
Like, where's this coming from? Where it's coming
probably
from.
Where it's coming from." She's like, "Where's this coming from?" Oh, probably where it's coming from. You freaking.
Right above you.
Right where it's dripping? Oh, I don't know.
What a fucking girl.
My points exactly.
And she gets stabbed through her freaking tit.
Okay, so then she's laying on the hammock, and then she gets stabbed.
It's like an homage to Kevin Bacon. They like
it's the same thing as Kevin Bacon's death.
It's like they play homage. It's like they were trying to wrap up the series. Is what they were intentionally what the movie was made for, is to wrap up the series, and they played homage to like the other deaths throughout it. And Jason will play homage to his mom by using Mrs. Voorhees' weapon and shit, and he'll stab her with like the butcher knife. Which is also Michael Myers' favorite weapon, which is just a knockoff from Halloween, which is what we know this series is all about.
Like similar
it's Psycho
deaths,
and
the same
it's
form.
Psycho and Halloween put in the campfire setting, which is dope.
Similar deaths
with sex, drugs,
and then Ralph.
And death.
You gotta have a crazy guy, and then you gotta have, it's like the same formula,
Okay, so the hippies are in the different. They make you think they're in a different cabin because they're not interacting.
They show the hippies back
except
to
for
him,
the cabin's
popping
huge.
popcorn, and he's got like freaking popping
every time
without
I
a lid.
freaking watch this movie on TV, it'll be like this scene where he's popping popcorn.
Or it'll be the scene where the biker chick's going in the barn.
Like literally, those two.
And you're like, wow, change it because I already see it.
Like, I don't want to see this.
Alright, so then the hippie's popping the popcorn without the lid, and it's popping all over. He's eating it.
And Jason's in the basement. We find out he tears the fuse box out, which makes him go down
there. Fuse box, and he goes downstairs, and then the hippie gets killed.
Okay, let me tell you. You think he's gonna die? He's been smoking. He's got no shoes on, and he's going into a dark basement in Crystal Lake.
And gashed. Really, Jason just pushes him on the light box.
Also, they don't even mention what day it is. No, it's just the day after Friday the 13th. It's Saturday the 14th, and this is what it is.
He gets electrocuted.
That's what it is, because it's the day after the part 2 is what it's supposed to be. So anyway, they do electrocution death with the hippie, and it's like Halloween Resurrection style, Darnell style. Like, hey, Michael's still alive.
Like any news?
Is Michael still alive? Like he's a real person
Halloween.
or something.
Halloween 5.
Child's
type into Facebook on his
Play
via mobile.
6.
He'll type that into Facebook on his via mobile.
And then he'll be like, Jason goes to hell. And then I type back, Nate Dunning goes to hell. And he was like,
why?
I like Nate. It's a fucking joke.
So then freaking the popcorn, he goes to check the lights, he gets killed. Hippie gets killed. She, the chick hippie, what was she doing?
No, Shelly shows up with his neck
she's cooking. Yeah, she's still cooking upstairs after she told the hippie.
This is why they did the build up. As Shelly as a horror fan, and he's doing all the fake tests so that they could do this. This is why they didn't show.
He comes in with a slit throat, and she thinks that he's just pulling another joke because he's been pulling jokes like that.
Cut it out.
So they cut it out, and he's totally dying in front of her.
And then Jason kills Leo from that 70s show.
Yeah, he kills Leo. It's the hippie downstairs.
We already mentioned that, yeah. So
we just didn't mention that his name's Leo. Alright, so then she gets killed.
Well, you're probably thinking that the whole time
Shelly's
anyway.
Killed, she gets
killed.
How does she get killed? She just gets stabbed.
Jason stabs the other hippie with the hot fire poker.
Oh yeah, she stabs her in the stomach with the poker, yeah. Alright, she's killed, then we go to freaking the main couple. Yeah.
Actually, this is another one they chose to do no death. They chose to do 3D. They were like, Jason, alright, Jason, action, Jason Voorhees, point the fiery poker at the camera.
And that'll be a 3D
Alright, you are
good.
a star. You're going to make it in Hollywood.
Wow. Just keep wearing the Halloween.
You're going to be an iconic
just
horror
keep wearing
villain.
the hockey mask. Right,
you are good.
Alright, A+. Alright, so then freaking, then it goes back to the main couple, the chick who got raped by Jason.
No, so he stabs her and they decided not to show any blood is what I'm saying, because they just did 3D and they're like, hey, it's a fiery poker, that's enough, we don't need blood.
Her boyfriend
she
had
burns.
her boyfriend who had the mini blue sweatshirt around his freaking like tennis thing.
The main couple returns back and they find no one.
He goes outside to check it out. Yeah, they're like checking around.
It's pretty suspenseful because you're waiting for
they get back
Jason's
from
mongoloid dome to jump out.
They get back from the lake and they're looking around. They see the fires on the stove cooking food. They turn it off. He checks around. He's like, I'll check outside. And he goes outside.
It's all dark, creepy,
she
and
hears
windy
a noise.
outside.
She goes back out there and freaking Jason's got a hold of him and they're like on the side of the house, but she's on the porch. So she's like, hey, is anyone out there? But really, he's right there. It's a tight shot,
sweet.
tight horror suspense of him.
And then Jason crushes his 80s prop.
Oh yeah, 80s freaking prop.
With the eye
and the eye gouge
style.
comes out like a little corkscrew.
Vintage 80s horror prop.
Spring pops out like his eyeball. It's tight effect. Tight 80s.
We should have watched
80s
that in
prop.
3D.
Oh,
Did we mention that at this point we took off all the
Yeah, we were. It gives you a headache.
And a buzzkill.
Especially that.
And then so Jason cleaned up the bodies because there was no blood around, I guess.
Exactly.
Up until the shower, because that's where she finds the bloody blue sweater. I also gotta mention everyone's wearing blue in this. Like there's 3 characters wearing a blue sweater. Like what the hell?
The sweatshirt, so she's flipping out.
They were like, bring your own clothes, kids.
And then she freaking finds
they all bought
Jason.
A blue sweater.
They run around. And then freaking out. And then she's like freaking. They go up in the barn. And then she shovels Jason's in the face. Jason Voorhees gets the shovel to the dome. And it's hilarious, like the way they shot it. And then they get back down at the bottom part of the barn. And then Tupac's alive. Tupac Shakur's alive this whole time. We didn't even know.
We gotta say the biker falls from the tree.
Oh yeah, when she first runs out there out of the house, the white guy, just from number 1.
This is another thing, like we were saying,
they stole it from number 1. They show that guy hanging.
They steal shit from number 1 and 2.
They steal stuff from the desk.
It didn't work in the original. It doesn't work in this one.
Yeah, if it didn't work then, it didn't work now. I don't know why they did it. Why the guy fell out of the freaking tree again.
So then the Jason throws the guy's body through the window, Scream 4 style.
Tupac's alive. So then he comes up.
No, you're whack. Shut up.
I already
you missed
freaking
out. Jason comes in with an axe. And Chrissy drops the bookshelf over the ledge up the stairs.
Oh, yeah, go.
So shut your mouth.
Yeah,
because that part's iconic and memorable.
It's the only thing I left out.
This when they show the cabin real dope. They show the best parts of the cabin, and she goes up the stairs and shit, and she hides in the closet, and she finds her friend's body.
Yeah, and he busts his hand through there, and she stabs Jason's hand. Then she comes at him, and it's
Jason
like
chops down the door.
She starts slashing
H2O
at
style.
him, and the camera's going back to walking backwards while she's slashing at him.
Oh, this part's sick.
Like
Chrissy grabs her best friend.
It's
the
how
knife.
they would have shot the Matrix if it was 1982. Like if he was dodging the bullets. Like how
she grabs the knife out of her best friend's body, dead body. It's sick. It's crazy. It's like Saw style.
She stabs him with the axe.
She tries to jump out the window. Oh, I forgot to mention that her boyfriend Rick, he was wearing blue Nikes when he gets his head crushed. Of course, you were supposed to say that. What a fucking faggot!
That part's tight.
Alright, go on. No, I don't really care that you missed that. What a fucking idiot!
Hey, I don't care that she said the word tight.
What a freaking faggot!
Alright, so then we gotta sum this up. We only got like a minute or two here. So then freaking she goes to the barn. She freaking hits him with the shovel, all that crap.
Tupac's alive.
Tupac's alive. Did you hear that?
Because he said G-Unit 04 and
no, he's alive because
right
he gets up and he starts fighting Jason again.
And he gets his hand chopped off.
Then he gets his hand chopped off. Luke Skywalker style. And then you're like, okay, he's Tupac Shakur, he's alive. And then now he's cut off and he's like Luke Skywalker.
No, Jason, no, Chrissy.
Luke Skywalker.
No, before that happened, she tries to get away in her stoner van. She pulls out.
Yeah.
Jason's standing in the middle of the road, even though he was all the way like upstairs or something.
She gets in her van, and it's a stoner van.
And he like dodges the car because he is a stuntman, as we know.
Oh yeah, so he jumps out of the way of the car.
And it runs out of gas because remember the script convenience, the gang siphoned it.
Exactly. So then she stops on the bridge.
So then they
the
go. The
back tire like falls.
So then they go in the barn, and Tupac's alive. Man, you skipped over like everything. You're retarded, Luke.
I'm trying to sum it up because we only got 2 minutes here, dude.
His name is freaking Luke.
His name is Josh. His name is Josh. Did you guys know that? He's a fag. Alright, so then Jason tries to go through the car door.
He goes by
She
L-Mid,
stops his hands. She reels up the window and stops his hands in there. And then so they go to the barn, she hits him, and then all that happens, Tupac's alive. And then freaking he kills Tupac again.
She knocks him in the head with a shovel.
So Tupac's dead because he fights him again. And then
this is what they do in the remake too. They ties him in the noose and gets hung up. It's like a sweet shot.
It's pretty tight. So then freaking...
No, the way they filmed it was awesome, and he falls down on the noose and he gets hung. It looks real as fuck. Yeah, because
they're up top, and she kills him in the barn, and then same thing that earlier in the movie that she got.
And then Jason takes the mask off, and he's got his pig face.
Hangs him. She opens the front door, goes out the barn at the bottom, and then it's Jason hanging right there. And you open the door, it was tight.
And it's his mongoloid dome because he takes the mask off.
And then he holds up like with one hand.
Spoiler: Tupac's alive.
No, he holds up one hand the rope, so he takes off his hand with the other one, and then it shows his face. This is the first time they reveal his face in the series, and you're like, oh, Jason.
Then she chops the axe in Jason's head,
and his face is like a Michael Jackson ghoulish thing.
So then Chrissy chops the axe in Jason's head. It's dope.
And it's tight. He gets the axe to the dome.
With some blood. Always gotta have the blood.
So then she's like, oh, all my friends are murdered and I just killed Jason, so I'm gonna pay homage to the first one and I'm gonna go to the canoe.
What is this, a fucking remake?
She goes out to the dock, to the canoe.
Don't fuck with the original.
And she goes out onto the water.
Didn't Sydney say that?
And then it plays a dream, and then it goes to the morning time when she wakes up, and then it plays the dream sequence of, hey, freaking,
so she sleeps in the
she sees Jason upstairs and he comes running out the front door, but really that's just a dream.
We find out it's a dream.
And then she wakes up again at the canoe.
Voorhees comes out of the water.
Yeah, she wakes up again and it's for real.
The first time you're watching it, you're like, what the hell? Yeah. You're like, that doesn't even make sense because Mrs. Voorhees has got her head chopped off. And Jason's the one that drowned, not Mrs. Voorhees. Exactly. And it's a freaking pond, too. It's not even Crystal Lake.
She comes out of the water with her head attached, so you're like, okay, Jason sewed his mom's head back on? Okay.
So then it cuts to the cops in the crime scene. She's like, she said she saw a lady in the water, but she's been through a lot, so we're just going to brush that off.
So let's just rush her out of here. She's crazy,
traumatized.
Delusional.
She's Laurie
And then
Strode.
she's acting like then she's getting driven away, and she's like, laughing like she's crazy. I hate when they do that to characters, like, at the end.
Oh, I know. They'll make them sane when they're getting chased by, like, the villain.
Yeah, they'll make them sane when they'll be able to get away from the whole thing, but afterwards, then they're like, it's retarded.
And then at the end, when everything's calm, and they film it, like, 5 hours later.
This isn't Christopher Nolan's Joker, you freaking groupies.
And then it's a shot of Jason lying in the barn.
Alright, so, overall thoughts.
Hold up, no, we got the end of the movie is a shot of Jason lying in the barn, presumed dead.
Oh yeah, it's real tight. Oh yeah, the cops drive away and there's no one even there.
And then it shows a ripple in the pond. Like, hey, Mrs. Voorhees might be in there. I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. Is there gonna be part 4? I don't know.
You know there will be.
They
gotta make part 2 of the remake.
Maybe some shitty 3D glasses that give you a headache for part 4.
Exactly. Overall thoughts, this is one of our favorite of the franchise, though.
I'd give it a, 7 out of 10?
Because the bitches are the hottest in this one.
No, because every time you check it out...
Actually, the deaths are better in the first one because Tom Savini did the deaths in the first one.
7 out of 10 because every time he goes on TV, you go to watch it, it's always the biker chick scene.
7 out of 10, you're crazy. It's like a close to a 9 out of 10. It's probably like an 8.8.
I was giving it an 8.5 just because I'm feeling happy.
Alright, leave a comment.
Leave a comment, subscribe, check us out.
Tell us your thoughts on Friday the 13th,
about the plot
Check out all the other in-depth horror reviews.
Yeah, Dino Weeks, what up?